Hello there this evening. We are going to film the ride home in the same 1080p 30 frames per second wide angle. Fucking helmet to shut. Speaking to one of my buddies at work today, and he's a real cool guy. Something that he told me made me think a little bit. But he came up to me this evening. He said, "You're only posting a video like every other day, dude." And I was like, "Yeah." It was probably a little bit less than that, actually. He's like, "You need to post something every day." And I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, I'm not the most interesting person in the world. I can't really come up with content to post every day. He said it doesn't matter. He said, you know, as one of your viewers, I'd want to see something from you every day. He said, I don't really care what it's about. He said, I just want to see you every day. So, taking from that mindset, what I'm going to try to do is find something that I can post about every day for you guys. It's going to be kind of tough with winter right around the corner. I mean, the day after tomorrow it's supposed to snow here. But, you know, I'm going to try to find something for you. You know, I mean, I do, of course, the motorcycle videos as well as the shooting videos, so I can find something. Oh, come on, dude. Gonna get me stuck at the red light for no fucking reason. But I guess tonight, what I can talk to you about is the Ninja 300 that I'm riding right now. The Kawasaki, it's 2015 Kawasaki Ninja 300 SE. That's the bike of my choice. I think I've already stated that in maybe a video or two. Tonight I'm going to talk about something a little interesting. I guess I figured out with the bike. But this bike requires something, at least from me, that I didn't really experience on my other two motorcycles. This is my third motorcycle. My first motorcycle was a Suzuki GS 500F. It's actually a great looking little bike. Got a good deal on it. And the reason why I purchased that motorcycle is that was during the time when, you know, gas first started to go up in price. And I kind of use that as an excuse, I guess you could say, to buy a motorcycle, because I didn't need one. I just had to kind of stop driving as much as what I did, because for my joy moments were just going for a ride, and I wasted a lot of gas. But I always went with somebody, so you know, the bike didn't really fill that need. But anyway, I bought the bike basically for gas mileage, and just to have something a little bit different happen in my life. So I get the motorcycle, very first day I drop it. You know, there's all kinds of stories I can tell you about my first experience with my first motorcycle. But in the end, I ended up finding out that, you know, there's a real love behind riding a motorcycle. I mean, there's just there's an aspect of riding that you can't talk about, because there's no words to describe it. It's just a feeling, and it's an amazing feeling. I mean, you just feel so in touch with your surroundings. I mean, you're not caged in or boxed in by this big old windshield. You know, the air is touching you every step of the way. The leaves falling out of the trees during, you know, the autumn time are hitting you on the face. You know, the nice cool rain in the 90-degree day, you know, is lightly drizzling, you know, against your skin, you know, on your arms and anything you got exposed, and it just, you feel like you're one with the universe. It's an awesome feeling, and even what I'm telling you now just doesn't really describe just that certain special thing. So it just, next thing you know, I'm just in love with motorcycle riding. I went from buying a motorcycle for gas mileage and just totally fell in love with riding. While I owned that, I also bought myself a secondary bike, and it was a Yamaha TW200. It wasn't I mean, it redlined at 55 miles an hour, and I don't mean redlined like in any gear. It was the top gear. 55 miles an hour was as fast as you could go on that bike before you had to consider that you might need to slow down because you might blow the motor. But it has this huge fucking rear tire. I mean, just fucking ginormous, with all the nubs on it and stuff, and it's cool to look at, and it was fun to ride, and the thing had incredible traction. So I mean, I have my bike for road riding, I have my bike for off-road, but I didn't have to use a truck to transport that bike to take it off-road. I could ride it off-road anywhere I wanted to because I could transport myself anywhere I wanted to on that bike. So that's the good side of having a street and trail bike. So that's not even the point of this whole story, me sitting here telling you about these other two bikes. It's just the fact that this is my third bike. And something I noticed with this motorcycle, now I'm 6'1", 175 pounds. I'm a little tall for this motorcycle. I fit on it just fine, you know. I mean, that's not an issue. It's a pretty decently comfortable riding position that I'm in, you know, being as long as lanky as I am, you know, got the long arms and everything. I'm a pretty tall, slender guy. But one thing that I've noticed, and maybe it's because of the way I sit, or maybe it's the way the bike is built, I don't know. Other Ninja 300 owners, please leave me some feedback. Let me know what kind of experience you've had on your bike. But for me, for me, counter steering is non-existent on this bike. I can put as much pressure on the right or left handlebar as I can, and it seems like all I'm doing is just pushing the handlebar straight down, and or even when I push it out, and maybe that's what it is, because I'm not really getting the outward motion, and instead I'm getting the straight down motion because of how high I sit. But counter steering on this motorcycle, for me, 6'1", 175, is fucking pointless, because I cannot counter steer on this bike. Instead, here's a phrase or word I can throw out there for you, something that this bike requires from me that my other two bikes never did. Because my other two bikes, I could counter steer just fine. I pressed on the handlebars and it went where I wanted it to go. Now this bike also goes where I want it to go, but counter steering is not how I do it. Instead, leaning is how I do it, or even just looking in the direction that I want to go and allowing my body to kind of go in that direction. Just the littlest bit of lean points me exactly where I need to go. Now let's say I need to emergency, you know, get out of the way to the right or the left. Counter steering is normally how you do that. You push on the handlebar real hard and immediately jerks you in that direction, gets you out of the way of something that might be right in front of you. Since counter steering doesn't work on this bike, how do I do my emergency maneuvering? And the answer is this: footwork. By pushing down with my left or my right foot on the pedal. Just I guess it's the simple physics of applying my body weight to one side of the bike, because once again, it's all about lean for me. So by applying all my body weight to the left or the right the peg is how I can do my emergency maneuvers, because simply stepping down real hard on left or right is how I emergency maneuver. So this bike requires from me footwork, and that's not something I'm used to on any other bike that I've ever had. Counter steering is, you know, amongst riders, common knowledge. I mean, that's how you turn, that's how you go around tight curves and stuff. But for this bike, it's not there for me. And like I said, maybe if I was a couple inches shorter and I hit the handlebars at a different angle, maybe it'd be a different story, because I'd be pushing more forward rather than straight down. So that's our lesson for tonight, or that's my riding experience for the night, I guess, or not my riding experience for the night, but my discussion about riding experience for the night is that for me, footwork is a big deal with this bike. One thing that does not apply for me is counter steering, because I can push on those handlebars all I want and it doesn't seem to affect the direction that I'm going. Kind of taking it easy tonight. I'm not riding too fast. You know, normally I'm going about 20 miles an hour faster through this area than I am now. I'm trying to keep the wind noise down I've noticed in a couple of my videos the microphone tends to have this little bit of popping, and I'm not sure if that's because something's loose up here, or loose enough, I guess, rather, one of the connections, like the microphone maybe, to where it's popping in and out and loosing and tightening, and I'm pretty sure it has to deal with wind. So I'm trying to just, you know, pace myself pretty easy. No point in flying right now. So, so today was about 68 degrees. That's pretty damn good riding weather. Tomorrow is supposed to be low to mid 70s. 24 hours later, and it's supposed to be snowing. So I might be putting up my bike sooner than I want to. Nah, hell, if it gets warm again the week after, I'll be right back on it. I'm gonna ride until I can't ride, until they start dropping cinders on the road, or the snow just, you know, starts sticking to the road, or the ice. I'm just gonna keep on riding. Like I said, it's an experience like no other, and there's no way to put it in words. You just have to try it yourself. If you have any interest whatsoever in ever wanting to ride a motorcycle, get on one. You know, that's all I can tell you, is just get on one. I just ran over something, I don't even know what it was. Oh, and here's a question for you. If you work in a retail environment, do all of your thieves show up in your store at the last minute trying to steal stuff? Like, for where I work, for example, at Lowe's, it's like 8 o'clock all the way until we close, which is the last hour. Seems to be when all your thieves start piling in the store, and I guess they think that we're not paying attention to them, but hello, that is like when there's the least amount of traffic in the store, and that is when we can pay very close attention to what you're doing. That's you're not helping yourself. It's very stupid of you to think that you're going to get away with stealing during you know, during the last hour of business. And even last minute, we have thieves actually try to make it out the door after 9 o'clock, you know, 5-10 minutes after. You know, they're trying to make their way up front and just walk out real fast. Come on, guys. All eyes are on you at that point in time. Hey, somebody went riding today. Woohoo! Nice and chilly. Alright, well, once again, as always, thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I think what we're going to talk about tomorrow is probably going to be what type of bike you should start on. Be it a 300 like I have here, be it a 600, or, you know, a liter bike, because there's a huge difference in the way all these bikes handle and the power output, you know, to the rear wheel. And there's things you have to consider aside from just the enjoyment side, but also the danger side and what can go wrong, you know, if you mishandle, you know, like a 1000cc bike versus a 300. Here's one for you before I let you go, just something to think about. This 300, I can be in the midst of a turn, full throttle that bitch at 8 grand on the RPM gauge, and not even be close to losing control. If I did that on a 1000cc in the middle of a turn and just gunned it from 8 grand, that back tire would spin, I would lose complete control and lay on the ground. So that's, you know, one of the things that you miss out on is the tight ass moments. You know, the squeeze your ass cheeks together when you, the mistakes that you're going to make that aren't so bad on a 300, but on a 1000, just, oh my god, I mean, you just, it's crazy how much you've multiplied your risk factor for something very bad to happen. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll try to get you up a video of what I think the best beginner bike is. Not so much individual bike, but just the style or type, or you know, what CCs you should go for. So stay tuned for that video. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a great night.